Again, this is Dragonesque4 coming at you with another how to make tutorial. And today I'm going to be covering how to make a rope dart. Now, a rope dart, in case you're not familiar with it, it's a ancient weapon, I guess you would call it. Martial arts use it a lot. And basically, it's a some kind of pointed, sharp implement on the end of a long rope. And you use it to trip people. You could use it to stab with, and I'll show you how to make it. Okay, here's what it looks like. Okay, and it's made out of rope. You could use whatever kind of rope. I use paracord, and I did this one in two different tones, so I spliced the cord in together. But you could do a solid one if you like. And basically what it consists of is rope, and you could do woven or do a straight rope. You don't have to actually weave it if you don't want to. And some kind of sharp tip, which you can use. And you need like some kind of material to act as a flagging material. And now how I made this is I took a plumb bob, which is a mason's tool that you hang from a line so you can make sure that your brickwork is going straight. And what I did is I took a plumb bob, and it comes with a removable tip. So what I sharpened up the tip. The tip is removable, although I did glue it in place with some hot melt glue. And I sharpened that up with a you could use a file or a Ryobi or however you want to file it. You could also take the tip off if you want and put in a piece of a nail if you prefer, and glue in a nail and then sharpen that. The top part also comes off, but what I did is I glued it in again with hot melt, and so it doesn't come off now. And then I reinforced it with some duct tape just to make sure it's nice and sturdy and not going to come loose. Now, for here, what you're going to do is you're going to, lengthwise, you want your thing to be about 1.5 times your body length and total length of the whole thing. You can make them longer if you want, but 1.5, at least 1.5 lengths of your body height is about what you would want for the minimum. You start with having an extra long piece of cord, and you have to tie it around as in this case, and there's more than one way you can make these. You can make these with different ways, like spikes or barbs or whatever you want. But in this case, I'm making it affordable and easy to make and cheap to make. And so what I did is I tied the cord. I took a little extra long length around this part here, and I tied it around this knob that is normally on this plumb bob thing. This is solid brass, by the way, so it's nice and heavy. And you want to do a double knot on this side, and then you have to, so it balances, because if you only put it on one side, your dart will go downwards when you throw it, so it's going to go like that instead of throwing straight. So you want to put it at least two knots on this side, and then you have to put at least 2 knots on the other side. So you bring your cord around and then knot it on the other side. Then with the leftover cord, you have to bring it up to the top so it comes above the back end. Otherwise, again, if it's off to the side, it's going to throw sideways and not stick right. So that's why I say you have to use an extra long length around this section. So after that, you bring it up to the top, and then you tie it off above the end of the piece here. And I wrapped it, like I said, to reinforce it and stabilize it a little bit. Now, to do this here, I will explain in a couple minutes how to do a weave. But first, I'm going to show you how the flagging material. You just need like a little bit of scrap material. You don't need a lot. Just a little bit that once you either have to tie it on to a straight rope or loop it through a woven rope like this is, and then tie it off. And you want to, again, balance your knots. So if you have a knot on one side, you have to have it on the other side too. Now you could do, instead of doing two pieces like I did, you could do one piece through the center of a woven rope and then just knot it off on one side, knot it off on the other side. That's one way of doing it. But you don't need a lot. Now, what this does is it would when if you were using it as a weapon, it helps to stop any blood flow from a person or an animal or whatever. So it'll stop it so it doesn't splash out on you. It helps to stop it. I shouldn't say it will stop it, but it helps to stop it. Now, I also have to say that this is dangerous. This is, I use mine against a wooden target. I don't advise using against people or animals unless you're really in an emergency situation. But I'm just giving you the knowledge of how to make these. Now, to make this part here, I have to put this in a holder so I can show you what I'm doing here. All right, with your cord, after you make your loop right, after you knot it off above the top part here, what you're going to do, you're going to take your cord, you're going to make a loop like this, and it's really easy. Just go around your fingers like that, make a little loop. This is a slide knot, basically, so you see how it could slide out and pull loose. So what you do is you make a slide knot loop like that. Then you just take your fingers like this, and you take a chunk of the rope and just pull it through like that. That's all it is, and you just repeat this process. Just go like that, pull it down to tighten it, and just repeat this process. And that'll form your cord. When you get to your desired length, all you do is you take your rope and then pull it through all the way instead of just making another loop. So you're pulling down, and that'll tighten it so it won't unravel. Then, to make your handle, you'll have some cord left over on this end that it hasn't been woven yet. So all you have to do, take your cord, and you will just pull open a loop a little bit by just pulling at it. And then you will just take your cord like that, loop it through a section that's woven, and then you'll just pull it down like that. And that, once you have your full handle amount, this is just to show you how it's done. And you just pull it down like that, which will form, like if that was a big long piece, it would form the handle. In this case, it's just like finger size, but that will show you the process. And then you just tie it off by just going through there, and then just tie it off like that through that loop there. And you could double tie it if you want to, but you don't really have to. I usually double tie mine. It just gives it a little bit more strength, and that's how you would form the hand loop. And I will show you how to throw this in a minute. I will take this down to my target, and I will show you how it throws. All right, I'm down with my target here. Focus a little bit so you can see this right here. Okay, I'm down in my target. I use a wood target. The target's really messed up. I had some water damage in the basement, so everything's kind of mucked up and moldy. But at least I can show you how to use this. So now, how you use this is there's more than one way you could actually throw this, but the preferred way is you put on your non-lead hand, you'll put your hand loop, and on whatever your hand that you're going to throw with is where you're going to do the swinging and throwing. So how you use this is you drape the rope over your hand, you will start spinning it, and then when you get the momentum, then you just release it like that. I missed that shot, but I'm overthrowing here. But you get the idea. There we go. You see, and it does stick. I just created this, so I'm still practicing with it. But you see, and it will stick in the target here. Now, another way if you could do this is if you have your loop on your one hand, and then you create like a series of loose by wrapping it around your hand like this, and then you would start swinging like you would with this previous method, and then just release with one hand, sort of like that. I'll try that once more, see if I can get it to stick here. There we go. That's one-handed throw. Now, you could also use this as a tripping weapon by swinging it around someone's legs or swinging it around their body or around their neck or something. You could trip them or choke them or whatever if you have to. And again, I don't recommend using this on people unless you really are in an emergency. But there's also another method where you can change directions really fast by directing it by moving it around your leg or around your arm, and that's an advanced movement, which I can't really show you here because it's limited space. But that's how you make it, and make yourself one. And if you do, maybe show me a video. I would love to see your work. Now, before I go, I'll mention one last thing about the flagging. The more flagging you have, the slower it's going to go. So but the flagging also helps to stabilize it. Besides being a blood splatter preventative, it helps to stabilize it. The more you have, the slower it goes, and the bigger they are, the slower it goes. So you want like a balance in my viewpoint. You want a balance, so you want just like a little bit like I did, but that's a personal preference. I mean, again, you can make these with whatever kind of rope you want to make them with. You can make them as fancy if you want, or not fancy. With mine, I spliced two colors together, and again, you could just change this tip. You could make this out of spikes or a barb or whatever, however you want to make it. And it's fun. It's nice recreational exercise that you can do, and it's easy to use. Really easy to use them. And let's see what else. I guess that covers everything. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to make yourself one. And there it is. That's the rope dart.